Hey, Shawnee from SpeedCubeReview.com. I use the Rubik's Cube in reference for practicing with my violin students. So let's talk about violin in reference to the Rubik's Cube. These are 5 tips for practicing the Rubik's Cube. Number 5, slow practice. If you have ever asked this question of how to practice, you have most likely seen the answer slowly. Practice slowly. What people seem to forget is that they're practicing. Often people seem to not remember that this is something that can be practiced, and just doing solves over and over and over again is not really good practice, really, for any sport or activity. If, let's say, I'm working on scales, if I was starting out and I was doing scales as fast as I can and just doing over and over and over, I would not be working on accuracy. I would not be getting more in tune. Just going slowly and working on being accurate and being efficient with the first 2 layers is one of the most important parts with practicing. Number 4, work on what needs to be worked on. If you are struggling with, let's say, PLL, work on some PLLs. Don't just keep doing solves and hoping that those ones will show up. If you're working on efficiency with the cross and making sure you're doing it within 8 moves, just do crosses over and over. Do some of them, mix them up, do it again. There's a lot of different ways to practice, but focusing on what you need to work on instead of just sitting down doing solves is going to be much more beneficial in the long run. Number 3. Watch what the pros are doing. There's a lot of places we can see reconstruction of solves. There's actually an entire website dedicated towards reconstructions of some of the best solves out there. And I'll put the link in the description where you can see those. You can see ones from Felix, some of the world record ones, and see what people are doing. Now, I remember the first time I looked at reconstructions and I really couldn't follow what was going on. Even when I looked at them in slow motion and you can actually see a computer solving it, it still was a little confusing, but it really helped me get on my way to understanding it more. And checking those out is not just kind of enjoyable, but you can see some techniques or tricks that they use, especially in bigger cubes. I found this helps a lot. Number 2, set goals and time your practice. Now, I don't just mean timing solves. What I'm talking about is having a set time, let's say 15 minutes of practice, instead of sitting down and solving randomly for an hour. Quality over quantity is really important with this. When I'm practicing things on the violin, I find that I could zone out, play a lot of stuff, and not really work on it and just play through some things. And that's not really helping me get better at the piece. It's kind of difficult to stay focused while you're practicing, to really, for 15 straight minutes, just focus on nothing but the puzzle. Just really focusing on being efficient, going slow enough that you can watch all the pieces, and just making sure that you are thinking about what you need to work on instead of just solving randomly for an hour. Number 1, repetition. Use repetition a lot. If there's something specific I need to work on the violin, doing it repeatedly over and over and slowly is going to help get my muscles developed for that one specific thing. One big thing I have to work on a lot is jumps. Doing something like, and to get that, I just had to do it over and over. So I'm always doing that same movement. If I just played the song repeatedly, I'm not going to be working on that as efficiently. When you're working with the cube, just doing movements over and over or a specific algorithm is going to help the most. Right now, I started working on the pi cases for COLL, and all I did was repetition on those cases. So when I see them, I can just do what I've already learned. So those are my top 5 ways to practice on the Rubik's Cube. If you have any other ways to practice that you think are really important to know, leave them in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and as always, stop by SpeedCubeReview.com for more news and reviews.